And I'm excited to be able to talk about something that I was thinking about last night and that really just hit me. And I really feel like that it would be really helpful for you too. And so just wanted to, give a quick kind of recap again of what this show is all about. As the name says, it's faith, income, and impact, right? About those things. And really in the order that I didn't say right now, but the actual show though, like having faith to impact the world, impact lives, and then also that leading to income as well. Because I truly believe if you are out there and you follow God, that He will help you in doing all of this. And that if you really focus on making an impact on the world, then that can truly, it will lead to income, as long as you have the right systems in place and the right ideas and things like that, then that really is going to happen. And so anyways, really excited to, have this show going, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to be able to discuss these different things. But the thing I was thinking last night is, sometimes it can be difficult when you go live. I was thinking about that, how sometimes I'm like going to click the go live button and stream this everywhere. And, you might even hear my son in the background right now. but just like the idea though that, how do you go live? And thinking that sometimes there's like this imposter syndrome or this fear to actually go and share what you need to share and what you feel like you need to share. And so, it's one of those things that I was kind of thinking through this and thinking about how, this thought came to mind as I was worrying about this type of stuff. Like, oh, should I go live? Should I share? Should I not? Like, it's, maybe I should just not do this. But I had this thought come to mind, and it was, your message is greater than the messenger, right? And so thinking through that, and I want you to think about that. So the message is greater than the messenger. And so, I want to talk through that for a minute and talk about a couple of different ways how that applies. For instance, with this show, right? With going live, with, sharing my thoughts and being able to really, share this with the world, and, focusing on faith, focusing on impact and income. Sometimes it's a little bit scary. Sometimes there's something inside that's like, I don't know. Are you sure you want to do that? And I sometimes wonder, oh, like, what if I mess up? Or what if, I don't look that good on camera, or I don't sound good, or I say too much, or all these different things. But then again, if I look at that, the message is greater than the messenger, then it's like, what? It doesn't really matter. And that's why I'm doing this, and why I'm going to show up consistently, is because I don't really care about the messenger. I don't really care about, my fear and my doubt. And sure, there's things I need to overcome and all that. But if you think about it, it's like, I really want to be able to share this with the world. And so I'm not going to let fear or doubt get in the way, right? The message to me is what's the most important part. Like, I feel like that this message needs to get out there. And so that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to continue to show up, continue to do that. Even if, again, maybe I have doubts, maybe I don't feel like I'm good enough. Maybe I don't feel like I'm going to sound good enough or look good enough, or whatever it might be. I am going to show up, and I'm going to make this happen. And so that's what I want to share with you today, as far as with your faith, is, how is the message greater than the messenger? As far as, being more open about, sharing your faith. And the thing is, you don't need to do that much. Like, just live your faith, and show others that, like, and just be genuine, and share what's important to you. And a lot of times people will totally resonate with that. Like, I've noticed for me, like, I've had people that they'll feel, like that they're not, like, they're having a hard time, right? Maybe they're going through a sickness, or they have a family member that's being sick, and it can be difficult. And, I've recently just started saying, hey, well, like, what's their name? I'd love to keep them in my prayers and stuff like that. I don't know if they are a believer or not, but how, even if you're not a believer and someone is offering to pray for you, you're kind of like, well, it wouldn't hurt, right? And so that's something very simple that you can do, to be like, what, I want to do that. I want to be able to pray for them. And that's something that I've noticed as I've done that people are totally willing to do that. And so, again, with the faith part of that, of how is the message greater than the messenger? How are you going to make sure that fear and doubt don't get in the way? If you feel like you need to say something to your friends, you need to share something uplifting, then you should do it, right? You should do it and just know that the message is more important than you, right? It's more important than your doubts and your fears. And I'm not saying that those don't count, because I know that they do. I can feel them as well. But that's just important. So I wanted to also take this concept, though, to be able to talk about impact and income, as well as, so essentially your business, and then also with your family. So I'll start with the family piece. And so, I was just thinking about this as well, with the message is greater than, the messenger, and just how sometimes as a parent, you may feel like you need to share something with your kids. Like maybe they need to spend less time on electronics, or they need to stop watching a show, or doing different things. And you feel inspired that that's something you need to share. Are you letting doubt or fear get in the way of that? And so thinking through that a little bit and saying, okay, well, if this is what I feel like I should do, and God's inspiring me to do that, then I should go ahead and do that. I should do it and not worry about how uncomfortable it might be or what their reaction might be. And obviously there's good and bad ways to do this, as far as you don't, we should be tactful in how we say things, and we should always do it in love and things like that. But just thinking through that, though, too, that it is important for us to be able to show forth, to that message, right? What is that message, and how is that greater than the messenger? And finally, just to tie this into your business as well, is, one thing that's so important is, and you may already have this all figured out, but if, figure out what is your message to the world. What is that thing that you are really passionate about, that you're really focusing on, in the core of that? Because, if you can really get it down to why are you doing this and why is it so important, then everything else kind of falls in place. And, it's something that Simon Sinek talks about in his book, Start With Why. Because as you share what you truly believe, then that's something that will really resonate with others, and other people that believe similar things, they'll start to find you, and they'll start to really resonate and buy into everything that you are doing because of that. And so understanding that message, but then not being shy about it, right? Making sure that you're continuing to share it, that you're helping other people with that. And I would think, the other thing I wanted to mention too is that sometimes it can be scary, when you're talking about selling, that sometimes has a very negative connotation. However, if you think about your message and the thing that you do in your business and how it's helping other people, then it's really important to look at that and say, okay, well, this is more important than me. Like, I might feel uncomfortable, presenting an offer. I might feel uncomfortable on a sales call, or whatever that might be. But if you really take it back to your message and what you are doing, then it's easier to say, okay, I'm going to push all the fear, the doubt, and everything aside, and I'm going to simply focus on the message and say, you know what, this is really important. I know that this is going to help this person in their lives. And through my business, I know that I can help them. And so really taking that message to heart and saying, you know what, my message is greater than, the messenger. And so, I encourage you to think about this thing, and I hope that that's insightful to you as well. But it's been really good for me because, again, with this show, I just really feel like it's more about the message. It's more about the message than it is with me. And that helps me just go forward and be like, you know what, I don't really care. There's going to be bad reviews. There's going to be bad comments. There's all sorts of stuff like that. But to me, I know that it's more about the message. And so I'm excited to be able to share this message, and truly believe that, God wants to help us. And if we seek his help, he'll help us do that. And I've seen that so much. And so I'm excited to continue to share examples of that and stories around that. And so really excited to be able to do that. And just that's what I want to share with you today. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. You can always, as far as kind of how this show works too, I just wanted to introduce that as well. So basically what I'm doing is I'm streaming this everywhere. So it's going to be audio only on Clubhouse. And then it's also on, Facebook and Instagram, YouTube and things like that. But then I'm also taking the audio and then putting it on my podcast as well. So then you can go and listen to that if you missed it or whatever, if you want to just subscribe that way. And love to have you, and would love to connect as well. So, you can, probably the easiest way is just go to Instagram, Dustin S. Hill, and you can just message me there. But I love to be able to keep in touch and do this type of stuff. And so as far as that goes, basically going live with the show on all the different platforms. And then what I'll be doing as well is is just on Clubhouse, because there is kind of, more interaction there, that I will then just end the stream, but then be able to talk more on Clubhouse. And so that's kind of how this works. And so I'll continue to kind of share more details as we go as well. But, really appreciate you tuning in, and feel this is really important. So, thanks for being a part of it. And if it's something that you resonate with, definitely, make sure you subscribe, and also, share it with your friends too. I'd love, for more people to be able to hear about this, because I've just seen, a need for this. And so I'm excited to be able to do it. So thanks so